it. Cabra! Yeah.
People say they have seen the chupacabra after some tequila he was dancing by la Prada. He loves salsa, he loves salsa, making out of Mexican looking like a tom-tom. They say that he's a monkey. I think the whole story's just a little monkey.
Wow.
Wow. I want that to be the intro for the show.
We can do that.
That's just awesome. I love that.
I love I'm in the middle of the story and they're like, we're going live. Click.
4 feet tall like a giant chupacabra.
But yeah, it was obviously a dead greyhound. I don't know if he had taken it out back and shot it or what, but that's what it was.
That's what it was. All right.
There were no... Nope.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Squatchable podcast, where we take a look at some of the news from the Bigfoot world. Yeah, get down, baby. Groove to that. That's going to be the show intro from now on. Joining me as always from Power Breakdown, Phil Pullen. Phil, how are you?
I'm doing better. Thank you for asking.
Luis. Joining us from the swamps of Louisiana, Chubbs. Chubbs, how are you?
Doing all right. Greetings.
And joining us from the outlands of Tennessee, where the Jerry Lawler roams free, Nikki Slick.
Hey.
I realise that most of you that Elvis might be the patron saint of Tennessee, but to me it will always be Jerry the King Lawler.
That's right.
WWE for life! AEW sucks!
I saw him at the airport last time I came in from Canada. I don't know if I told you that or not.
Was he flying at the time?
He was flying. He was in the plane with me, and then people hoarded him while he was at baggage claim, so I didn't bug him, but I wanted to get a picture of him.
With good reason. He is a living god.
Yeah, and you can't go anywhere in this area without a Jerry Lawler fireworks stand year-round.
What a legend. The stuff he did with Andy Kaufman defined sports entertainment for our generation, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I went into a huge deep dive of their relationship, and it was so interesting. Like,
to this day, you'll never know how much of it was a shoot and how much of it was a work. That's
right?
How meta the whole thing was. It was just brilliant.
Right.
By the way, you won't see any of those fireworks stands around anymore.
Will you not?
No, they were all bought out by Antifa in Portland.
Yeah. Really, Phil? You haven't even got the story yet. All right. Without further ado, oh no, wait, I forgot to plug Keith and Colin. This week, Keith and Colin will be throwing their weight behind Joe Georgeson in the upcoming November election. Because, of course, Bigfoot have a political interest these days, according to our first story. Without further ado, I'm your host, Richard James Allen, from the sunny shores of Old Blighty. Let's get on with it. Our first story comes from the one, the only Matthew Johnson, a legend in his own mind. You know what? I'm not even going to press play. We don't need to watch the video.
Yeah, we really don't. Just keep him with that look on his face. It's great.
Yeah, that just
Deranged
right look, staring. No facial drivers, no emotion on his face. He's staring right at the camera. That's what you love. So, I'm going to quote my own blog here. You know, that's how egotistical I am these days, and say through a series of poorly implemented EVPs, or I don't know what the Bigfoot equivalent of those are called, audio recordings, I guess. Anyway, he has decided that the Bigfoot, or Xanu, or however you say that word, have thrown their political clout behind President Trump. Now, we are obviously not going to get into the whole, is President Trump a good president or not, because, you know, we're not a political show.
Sure, we want to alienate our audience.
And neither are our audience, exactly. But what we will dip into is, as I said this in my blog, allowing a foreign power to have influence over your elections is technically treason. So I'd like to milk that cow for all it's worth. But yeah, the EVPs or whatever you want to call them are just...
Yeah, me too.
And from that, we're supposed to gauge that, because EVPs only work by the power of suggestion. The person says what they think they hear, and then you listen and you hear that because someone's told you what it sounds like. In this case, even if someone tells you what it sounds like, it still sounds like...
Yeah, me too.
Exactly. Phil, what were your thoughts about this video?
My thoughts about the video is that the guy's he doesn't know how to float his boat. I mean, he's playing hockey with a warp puck. He's got splinters in the windmills of his mind. He's 2
sandwiches short of a picnic.
There were no lifeguards at the gene pool.
He's really trying to extend everything out to the nth degree, and this does remind me. There used to be a gal on YouTube that was talking about the angels who were actually space aliens that made her like this princess of the galaxy, and she was talking about how they're going to invade and everything. Completely serious, and that's exactly where this guy's going. Except he's using these fictitious Bigfoots. I'm not saying that Bigfoots aren't real. I'm saying that his Bigfoots aren't real. There's a difference there.
But the products of a deluded narcissist demented brain. He could very well be hearing voices, but it will be his own voice reflected back on him. Chubbs, what do you think?
Well, I'll give him this. He's been around for a long time doing the same thing, and whether what he's talking about is actually happening or not, he hasn't misstepped. He's said the same thing. He keeps saying it with a straight face. So if it's a con, hey man, good for you for going the long haul. But like, I don't know where he thinks this is going to end, but it's kind of going, a little off the rails.
Yeah. That's like giving Jimmy Jones, Reverend Jones, kudos for sticking by his guns.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to you, Chubbs. You've never got a bad word to say about anyone. It's
super sweet. I love it. I love that about Chubbs.
Here we have like the most delusional, absolute C word in the universe, and Chubbs is over there all like, well, he said the same thing over and over again.
Kudos to him. He knows his lies. It's awesome.
I've got
Chubbs always finds the positive in everyone.
That's right. It's such a sweet. I don't know.
It's really sweet.
It is
sweet. I wish I wasn't so jaded and I could see the world through Chubbs' eyes.
I think it's great. I think it's personally great that you sent this to me, I think last week, and you were like, we're not going to cover it on the show. And I was like, okay. And then suddenly you were like, hey, Nikki, these are the videos. And I was like, what?
I couldn't not share it. It's my favorite thing to happen in Bigfooting since the $10,000 challenge. I mean, this is just, and it's had such ramifications. Like 2 of his lieutenants have started talking to me, and they've never ever talked to me. They've always slandered me all over the internet, but now like people are talking to me. They're like, "Well, he's getting political now."
But if you look at the comments on the video, he's denying that he's political. He is just a voice piece.
Well, that's another thing. He says early in the video that the Xanu have told him to remain politically neutral, and he said, "So I have stayed politically neutral." That is BS, ladies and gentlemen. If you go to his homepage, he is very, very pro-Republican, and he's always supported the Republican ticket, and he's always stated that.
But
I like they tell him to be neutral, but they're not neutral.
Yeah, I mean, we're jumping in.
I don't understand his translations
That
either.
that wasn't so much my issue with the video. I I he mentions another group in the video that
No,
I'm not going to say what
I'm
group.
going to shut that down. I'm going to shut the last 10 minutes of the video down.
Ha 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 ha.
Dang it. I was just saying that, that stuff is all good and fun, but living your life by it is I can't imagine what kind of torture that would be. That's what I was going to say.
Look, there's two sides to every coin, and both sides of this coin think the other's a criminal.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about politics at all.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the...
No, I wasn't talking about politics at all.
Okay. We're not a political show. I don't want to talk about the politics behind it. I just want to say this man who has met this... Let's just go to fairyland, shall we? Let's just pretend that everything he said up to this point is true.
I don't have Fairyland music queued up, so.
But let's just say everything that he has said up to this point is true. How lucky is this dude that he found an alien race, 28,000 individuals that he saved personally with the help of a couple of others with a battery and a Ford pickup truck. He brought them to this world, and these powerful beings with the ability to turn into trees, the ability to mind speak, psychicness, clairvoyancy, that have a finger in every single pie in every single country on this planet, echo all of his core beliefs. I mean, they're all. He says he's a Christian, which, apparently the Christianity is taking a downturn if they're letting.
I like the fact that they're mind speaking from continent to continent.
Right,
Yeah.
and he's got that special power because he is their savior. He's got a cult full of Sasquatch that may or may not be real.
How come he had to translate though what he was recording? Because it starts off as Trump bad guy, and he translated that to mean badass.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, there's a difference, isn't there? Isn't there a difference?
And if you watch the video that preceded this the Red Square is Coming video, which was even more political, the EVPs on that one are even worse.
I think it's great that he expresses, like, he tells you what it says before he plays it, really, because it could be literally anything, but once you have that suggestion in your head, you're going to hear that.
Well, that's how EVPs work.
Exactly, that's how they work. It's not like it's like, what does this say to you? It was just like, this is what they're saying.
It's like pareidolia for the ears.
Yeah, auditory pareidolia. That's actually a really good thing. Trademark that. Okay, so I could literally spend all day talking about this video, but we're going to have to move on. What I will end it on is the same way I ended my vlog. Either this man is allowing a foreign power to influence the political decisions of the United States of America, and therefore is a traitor, or he is a lying con man trying to make a fast buck. Either way, I don't know how you can continue to support him.
Or he's delusional.
Oh, it's delusional. We're moving on to Timber Giant Big. Oh, wait.
No.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Are you tired of plain old breakfast? Cereal is not sugary enough. Are you tired of burnt pancakes and waffles? Then you need Slapjacks. The slap against your face that causes a chemical reaction to heat up. No cooking required. Just slap and eat. Don't believe us? Here's a satisfied customer. Slapjacks are the best breakfast food ever made. Slapjacks. Slap those smiles back. You heard it here, kids. Slapjack saves lives. Order at www.slapjacks.com.
Brilliant. Ah, absolutely fantastic. So we move on to a familiar old face, Timber Giant Bigfoot. Been a while since we featured one of his videos on my channel, but do you know what? I go back to things I care about. In the beginning, right, 12, 13 years ago when I first got into Bigfooting, and it was Tim Fasano and then Timber Giant Bigfoot and Team Taser. You know, videos like this, they carry a certain weight of nostalgia about them. So I go back every once in a while, even though, the giant reveals sort of ruined Timber Giant Bigfoot for me. Like, you could explain away the rest of his videos, like the thing behind the bush. Maybe he really did go off to see how his kids were. Maybe the thing in front of the tree. Maybe he really didn't notice it. But the giant reveal was such an obvious hoax that I couldn't take him seriously anymore. And so it was very rare that I'd go back and view. But this video is interesting because at the very end, he finally turns back the camera back on his own face, and he's not some kind of weird elephant man that everybody seemed to think that he'd been in some horrible accident. That's why he took a year off. He's still the same old Timber Jim or Jungle Jim. Jungle Jim. And, you know, in this video, it's just more of the same. He's walking around the forest. He's telling some stories about seeing some Bigfoot. It's classic Timber Giant Bigfoot. Phil, what did you think?
It was classic Jungle Jim for sure. He shows some of the trees, the tree falls that are in the area that were not there before. He follows what looks like a game trail, finds a couple of spots that look like the foliage had been trampled by steps, you know, as in quite large human-shaped steps, you know, that sort of thing. Even though we can't really see it on the camera, he can see it as he's walking down this game trail. And I guess he's surmising, although he doesn't say it, but he's surmising that perhaps the Squatches are using this game trail back and forth. And there it is, I think, coming up now. Yeah, there it is. Showing the game trail and the indentations, and you can see it kind of in the foliage and the leaves that have fallen on the ground. Yeah, classic. He's thinning a little on top, I noticed.
Yep. But he's got a nice head of hair now. He always had it short before, but now he's got like a long wavy hippie thing going on. He's a very attractive man. I'll say that for him. Chubbs, what did you think?
I like that he actually went to the spot of the big, quote unquote, red reveal, whatever, and then he gave the story of, as the title says, he heard voices, and it sounded, you know, like another language. He remembered that, you know, the famous Sierra sounds. And then he got to a spot where he said, I'm not going any further. And he kind of checked all the boxes of a classic video. So good for him.
It's classic, vintage Timber Giant Bigfoot. He's always been on the boundary between flesh and blood and woo. Like, he's somewhere in the middle. He's not completely woo, but he's not completely flesh and blood. I've always liked that about him. Nikki, what did you think?
I mirror their comments, and also, like, he's in shorts, and it makes me incredibly anxious because I see a lot of poison ivy around. I know that everybody is like, you know, because I was kind of like, that doesn't look like a Bigfoot, you know, thing, you know. So what? Limbs fall all the time. It happens.
Yeah. What about that?
It doesn't convince me. But it gives me great anxiety to watch people walk through the woods. I'm severely allergic to poison ivy.
You're worried about poison ivy. I'm worried about ticks. I'm just
right.
Like, dude, you're throwing yourself in the path of Lyme's disease. Stop it, okay? Put some jeans on. God's sakes, man.
Well, you can use some off and stuff like that to keep that from happening. But my thing is just like, that's going to be an itchy mess later. But I don't know. I find it interesting because I think it's very pretty. I used to walk through the woods when I was younger and dumb. You know, I think it's interesting, but I also, you're not going to be able to show me like a pile of poop and dig through it, or like, you know, look, here's a trail in the woods that I'm walking through currently. Maybe you walk through it all the time. Here's, you know, a footprint. Here's some fallen limbs. That's not going to convince me of anything. I at least want a red circle.
Yeah, red circles are important.
But it was interesting. It's very pretty.
Also, please don't talk about walking through the woods in shorts, Nikki. You're going to overexcite Bill.
Part of this video, you know, near the beginning, I found myself waving my hand around in front of my face.
Yes, that mosquito.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's just I thought maybe he had put it in because it was so consistent at the beginning, and it just kept. It felt like it was on a loop. Like maybe he had added that, but then it dissipated, and I was like, oh, that might have been a real mosquito. Like if it's not picking up his voice, you just hear zzz through the whole thing.
That sound is just
Yes.
So we're all pro this video. It's classic.
It's a good video.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a like. Phil, you got a commercial lined up?
I do actually.
Let's do it.
Okay. Cuthbert Tweezle works hard and long at his job. Okay. As a duck call tester. Okay. Yes, for hours on end. Duck call after duck call undergoes Cuthbert's careful scrutiny. Okay. Being a duck call tester is occasionally interesting. Oh, defective. But most of the time, it's as pathetically dull as it sounds. Okay. So, one day this week, in a rare display of spontaneity, Cuthbert Tweezle escaped. To Las Vegas! Las Vegas! You can be there tomorrow. There are flights every nanosecond practically. Las Vegas! It's amazing, it's exciting, it's glamorous as heck, and way more fun than working. Hey, why not? Call your travel agent and get your to Las Vegas. Okay. A mental health tip from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority.
Duck call tester. It's not the worst job I've ever heard. That's the worst part. I met someone once who was a snow researcher, and I was like, you must be beating off the pussy with a stick. Moving on to our next video from C. Wayne Wilson, Bigfoot and a White Dog Man. This video is definitely contender for #1 in our entry of what the beep did I just watch? Here we go. It's 1 minute, 13 seconds of this. He's looking around the forest. There's a Bigfoot. There's a chupacabra. We hear. He's looking. There's a Loch Ness monster. He's spinning around. Oh, Wendigo. That's a rare seat. Oh, where? That's a rare thing to see. Wendigo. What else we got here? Ooh, is that a Yowie? Wrong country, mate.
Don't forget Thunderbird up there.
Oh yeah, Thunderbird, good one. I completely missed that. Thanks, Chubbs.
He does not mention Dogman once.
Doesn't mention Dogman once. This white thing here, I think, is what he's talking about. That could be anything. So yeah, that's about it. We've got like 7 seconds left. That's the video.
Oh, was that Mothman I was thinking of? Oh, is that white thing supposed to be a white dog man? Is that what he says?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Mothman.
But yeah, I'm going to give this one a firm dislike. What the beep did I just watch?
Basically, that was how I felt, but I stuck with it through the whole thing. I was pretty proud.
It's only a minute. Yeah. It's only a minute, isn't it?
I have severe ADHD. Do you know how hard it is for me to focus on nothing for 1 minute and 13 seconds? Like, that's a long ass time.
Yeah,
it really did need a nice backing track.
Something.
Classic, absolute dog shit video.
Yeah, garbage.
Chubbs, come on, give me something positive.
I'd like to give a quote from the movie The Great Outdoors. I see trees.
Yes.
But
that's a good job.
That's a great quote.
Yeah. Okay then. Moving on.
Very poignant.
Moving on.
Another commercial lined up.
There's a whole new way of living. Here's Mr. Johnny Cash for Pepsi Cola. It's got a lot to give to those who like to live, 'cause Pepsi helps them come alive. It's the Pepsi generation coming at you, going strong. Put yourself behind the Pepsi if you're living. you belong. You've got a lot to live, and Pepsi's got a lot to give. You've got a lot to live, and Pepsi has got a lot to give.
Nice.
You trying to get a sponsorship or something?
We've got a sponsorship.
We're sponsored
Got
by
it.
everyone Phil can find.
That's right.
So our next video asks the question, what are you doing, Nicky?
What?
I mean, you got Bigfoot in your state. Where's the on-site reports?
Let's see. I live outside of Memphis. So a lot of those take place in places like Knoxville or Chattanooga or less concrete-y places. We do have woods here, and I'm sure I could go out looking for them, but I don't think I'm gonna find squat.
No, you're going to find Squatch.
Yeah, I'm definitely good. I'm not gonna find Squatch. I'll find squat though.
But yeah, this is a nice little encounter video from Tennessee about a man went out to the woods, saw himself a Bigfoot, and heard an ungodly howl. Fire was getting real low. Crickets weren't making no noise. They was all out there, and they saw themselves a Squatch. It's a good story. I really enjoyed this video. I'm not gonna lie. I had it on in the background when I was playing Fallout, and it just fit the whole aesthetic of the game. I really liked it. I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up.
I want to know where North Tennessee is. I know where East and West Tennessee, but like,
Well, you know Tennessee, right?
yeah.
It's probably on the northern part of the state.
Yeah, but the state is really long. That's like a lot of hours coverage to like try to find. They didn't say specifically where it was. I would just like to know exactly where.
Well, Tennessee
North Tennessee
borders Virginia, doesn't it?
No,
Doesn't it?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to Google this.
You need to Google it because my geography is way off. I'm not used to. I've never been to Virginia.
Well,
I've traveled to a good amount of the places like Alabama,
Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and the Mississippi.
I just don't go east very often.
Virginia is a big foresty state, isn't it?
So I don't know. I've never been to Virginia.
Well, classically, when you think of Virginia, you think of big forests.
Okay. I mean,
and
sure.
Country roads, obviously.
Mountain mama.
Yeah, take me home.
I don't know why that just tickled me so much. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to Virginia.
You love song references.
I do. No, I know.
I get you with a song reference. Okay, so yeah, a nice little sighting video from Tennessee, guys. What was your thoughts?
It was a story about a guy goes into the woods and has an encounter with a Bigfoot.
Look, I wish I could do an American accent, because this would be a perfect time to bust out one of them old-timey videos. You know, where the narrator's all talking in a low southern accent. Oh, fire was getting real low. I could hear them chickadees in there.
It was late at night. The moon was rising above the tree line. And then all of a sudden, it came from out of nowhere.
Isn't this the one where the Sasquatch like jumped down and attacked a deer and then took it into the tree? Am I getting my videos mixed up?
Yep. Yeah, no, this is that video.
And he just through the whole thing is like apologizing that he didn't have a camera.
It's always the way.
And then he's like, I would have, I probably wouldn't have used it. I was in such shock.
I know you're not a Bigfoot, but this is how it is. Whenever Bigfoot appears, you can't find your camera. Or if you can find a camera, you've got it set to the wrong setting, so it's all blurry. These are standard Bigfoot procedures.
After the encounter, he went home and changed his trousers.
You know, even if I did go to North Tennessee, wherever that might be, and found a Bigfoot and took a video of it, no one would believe me, considering how much I have talked smack about getting my 6'8" nephews to like go out in a ghillie suit.
That's right. That's right. If I was Bigfoot, you would be the first person I would show myself to.
Right. You'd be like,
No one.
no one's going to
No
believe
one.
you.
Yeah. Just stand there and be like, they're going to think I'm your nephew in a ghillie suit. Take all the pictures you want, biatch.
Size comparison shows that Sasquatch was 6'8".
Yeah. Maximus Decimus Meridius did the old points confirmed. But yeah, you know how to get to North Tennessee. You just follow them country roads. Chubbs, what did you think of this video?
Well, great story. It had the hallmarks of a classic story. That, you know, it hit all the points that you hear. With a story, you know, you can believe it or not. I would say put a pin in the map, but as y'all pointed out, where would you put that pin? Because it's a kind of large area, but hey, if it happened, that's great. Like, but where are you going to put for just north? So we'll just put it somewhere in the top. But hey, classic story, you know.
Well, you could just draw a big circle, a big red circle around the north part of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then just put a Bigfoot sighting.
A Bigfoot sighting. Maybe yes, maybe no. All right, let's move on to our final story and our final conversion.
Budweiser presents the world's first star in your own radio commercial. Okay, guys, whenever you hear this sound, insert your name.
Hi there.
Your name.
Sorry I'm late. Sometimes there just aren't enough hours in the day to be a neurosurgeon and a swimwear model. Oh, am I thirsty? How about it?
Your name.
Got anything tall and cool? Oh, Budweiser long necks, though.
Your name.
You are so thoughtful. But of course, Bud's the first choice for every occasion. You know, I have a confession to make. If I ever had a son, I'd want to name him.
Your name.
Oh.
Your name.
Come here. Now.
Your name. Your name. Your name. Well, you did very well in your first commercial. Have a Bud. You've earned it.
Yeah. You, Phil, the women's liberation is just something that happens to other people, right?
Women what now?
Our final video comes from the man, the myth, the legend that is Todd Standing. In this 12-minute absolute waste of your time, I'm giving you this thumbs down right now. You can go ahead and listen to the delusional ramblings of a madman who will tell you he has got, what was it, 12 different videos of Bigfoot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of those 12 different videos, well, we debunked most of them on this show. I mean, except Blinky and Winky. We've never done Blinky and Winky on this show, but the rest of them, yeah. I need to switch the volume off because his voice is throwing me off. I always thought the Canadians were a decent lot overall, but this man is really making me second guess that judgment. I mean, Canadians that listen to this show, do something, yeah? Do something about this.
I think he's taking advantage of their reputation.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he tells the story of how he manipulated the Bigfoot into getting his footage, and yeah, I'd almost be more willing to believe that the Bigfoot are throwing their political clout behind President Trump than I would be to believe Todd Standing, if I'm honest. But Phil, what did you think of this video?
What kills me here is that he is. It took me a while to recognize it, but he's relating the story about when, you know, the photographs that he was taking and so forth when he was surrounded by Bigfoot, right?
Yeah, surrounded
and chased by a bear and all that. Well, I believe this is the same incident,
Yeah.
but he completely changed it. Now, all of a sudden, we've got a Bigfoot coming up behind him and scooping him up like a basketball and throwing him.
Mhm.
And the other one busts his camera and he has to talk about how expensive the camera was and what make and model. He just changes. He changes everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, we have covered the incident on this show where he ran away and hid so he could get on TV. That's the incident you're talking about, right?
It's like he needed something new to say, so he just went back to the same old crap and just revised it to an even more ridiculous story. And what's with No Beard? He's got to grow that thing back.
Definitely. He babyface Todd is what I'm going to call him from now on. He just looks wrong without a beard. But the video he's talking about in this video, is that the one with the Bigfoot running up the side of the hill?
No, I don't think so. I think it's his little expedition where he comes across Blinky, Winky, and Nod.
Yeah, those. It's. I've always said that about him. He's so fortunate to be in an area where none of the Bigfoot look the same as the other ones. You know, they're all genetically dissimilar from another. Different fur, different face, different everything. It's always been a nice win for Todd to have that. Chubbs, what did you think? Give me something positive.
Okay, well, like you guys, I've heard everything Todd's had to say. Yeah, he's just repeating himself. My favorite part is in the beginning. He says that he's landed, in the airport in Georgia, and he goes, "I can't believe how hot it is." And I said, "Well, welcome to the South, buddy. Canada may be nice, dude, but this is what we have to deal with." And he couldn't get over it. I'm like, yeah, it's hot down here, man. How do we deal with the Sasquatch down here? So I thought it was funny. He just couldn't believe how hot it was. And I'm like, well,
And he doesn't say why he's there.
In the bayou of Louisiana.
He doesn't say why he's there. He basically said, one, he was going to meet up with another Bigfooter or whatever. Why does he have to hop on a plane and go all the way down there just to meet with a Bigfooter? Is there some other TV show that wants him on? Or
he never puts out any more videos than his own, as far as I've ever seen. It's just his. He's never gone anywhere else and said, "Look what we saw." It's always his place. I find that a little peculiar.
He's very quick to discredit this other Bigfoot researcher as well by saying, I don't know how the Bigfoot could survive down here where it's so hot. He throws that one out right away.
Yeah, we've heard people all the way down to Florida, and it's like we got him. Just he can't believe it. That's
No, it's just that he has to be the only real Bigfoot researcher.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone woo yet, if I'm honest. I mean, he's on the border.
Yeah, he is.
He hasn't put his little foot across. Nikki, what did you think?
I'm with you. Without the beard, he looks like Tom Arnold. Is it just me?
No, it's not you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, first of all. Yeah, it was hard for me to listen to it because, I don't know, it seemed contrived. Like, the whole thing is like, oh, I'm really trying. At least to me, it felt like he was like, oh, I'm really trying to get all this video footage for you to the detriment of my relationship with Bigfoot. And then it kind of was, I don't know. I don't know how to I have no idea who has the crow yelling outside, Dean, but I've been listening to it too.
Well, he has
that was me. Sorry.
It's fine.
It won't leave me alone. It's looking at me.
Hey, Chubbs, you know what they call two crows?
What?
Attempted murder.
Oh, screw you, Phil.
I'm the spoiler. I'm the ruiner.
You are. All right, so that's enough from Todd. ye guess ye not, Madam, a real Bigfoot standing. Phil, do you have any breakdowns coming up this week?
I haven't done anything really in 2 weeks because of all the stuff that's been going on. And I'm getting depressed because of all the, the political horse shit. Yeah.
There's a note of it.
Yeah.
I got sucked into it basically, and it's hard to dig my way out and actually do a Bigfoot video.
You know what you do? You just don't get on Facebook for a week, and it will change your life forever. Like, don't get on any social media for a week, and then you won't want to get back on. You really won't. I have done that. One of my friends has done that recently because she was having issues with it. I was like, don't get on Facebook, don't get on Twitter, don't get on anything for at least a week. And now she's just like, I don't even want to get on it. I was like, I only get on it when I'm incredibly bored.
Right.
My crap posting has slowed down significantly because I just, I don't care to. Stay away from it. It'll make you feel better.
Ah, good deal.
Yep.
Or you can make a video saying the big furry jaws. You've broken down a Bigfoot video, and it's clearly holding a candidate of your choice video.
It's true. Just edit it in.
Edit it in.
Whoever your choice candidate is.
That would actually be fantastic because I really love that video. It's my favorite thing to happen in a long time in Bigfoot. So I really want to ride that one for all it's worth. Chubbs, have you reviewed a new video?
Well, I got a couple things here real quick. This week, I'm going to be talking about the movie Legend from 1985. But if people stay tuned, I was honored to talk to a First Nations person from a different community, and he has nothing to do with Bigfoot. But I got to talk to him about all the stuff we hear and get his take on it. So not this week, but next week, you can see I did an interview with a gentleman who came out and talked to me about it.
That's groovy.
That's awesome.
Proper groovy. And as I said before, this week, Keith and Colin will be throwing their political clout behind Joe Jorgensen. It's going to be epic. They're going to push that third-party candidate all the way to the moon. Because they are Bigfoot. And there will be done. That's going to wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from Phil. It's good night from Phil. It's good night from Nikki. And it's good night from me.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to everyone that listens. Solo, Dean, Brent, Will. We love you all, lads. Thanks for always tuning in. Bye-bye.